Hello and welcome to News 6 Extra. I am streaming executive producer Thomas Mates, filling in for Julie Broughton. She has the day off. News 6 meteorologist Jonathan Kagas will be in for her this afternoon on News 6 at 4. We've got a lot to get to today. We're following a very tragic story out of Volusia County. Toddler has passed away after, according to the sheriff's office, the father left the boy in a truck that was not ventilated while the father was out in a bar. So we'll have the latest on that coming up in a few minutes with Molly Reed. We'll also be taking a look at Orange County's efforts to get ready for storm cleanup should we get hit by a hurricane, and what you need to know to make sure that debris gets organized and cleared up right away, quickly and efficiently for everyone. We're also going to be looking at the best practices when it comes to moving, what you need to know to protect your goods as it makes its transit from one place to another, what to watch out for when you're looking for a moving company, and so much more with that. And lastly, we're going to be looking at Epic Universe. It has been 1 month today since the theme park held its grand opening. We're going to be talking with New 6 theme park expert Haley Coombs all about what's working, what's not working, and what's next for the giant theme park that just opened 1 month ago. But before we get to all of that, we have to check out the weather. This weekend is looking hot, like it always does as the start of summer here in Florida. But for much more detail on that, we turn to the weather wonder woman, Michelle Morgan.
Hey, how you doing, Thomas?
Pretty good, pretty good. How about yourself?
I'm doing good, trying to find ways to stay cool
Of
because,
course.
things are heating up out there across central Florida. So let's go ahead and get right into the forecast. I am tracking some showers and thunderstorms developing across central Florida, as you can see here on your screen, and a few of them a bit rowdy, producing plenty of lightning, also some gusty winds associated with them, primarily over parts of Volusia and Flagler counties. Most of the storms are continuing to move to the south and east at the moment, but we'll continue to see pop-up showers and thunderstorms as we go through the afternoon hours. So you know the deal. Just make sure you have the rain gear nearby, the umbrella, and of course, if you hear thunder, when you hear thunder, go indoors. When thunder roars, go indoors. That's what we say. Alrighty, zoom into the area here. We are looking at a special weather statement for this particular cell over Sanford, heading towards Lake Mary, producing heavy rainfall, lightning, gusty winds. And because we are picking up on winds between 40 to 50 miles per hour, and we're going to continue to see the setup as we go through the next couple of hours or so. Now, as we take a look at the temperatures here, things are toasty, and because it is the first day of summer, even though it felt like summer like last month. We are looking at temperatures in the 90s today, and the summer solstice, what that really means depends again on the angle of the sun. So that is going to result in the longest day of the year today. 13 hours, 57 minutes of sunshine, and officially starts at 10:42 tonight. But again, it is still going to be very hot. We're going to be dealing with those summer-like thunderstorms as we go through today. But great news, if you have any weekend plans, your forecast is actually looking decent, just hot. But as we take a look at the current temperatures here, things already heating up across central Florida, 90 in Ocala, the Villages, Wildwood. We're in the upper 70s in Daytona Beach because it's raining, so it's cooling things down in that area. 91 in Titusville, 88 in Orlando, Kissimmee, Cocoa Beach, and 88 degrees in Winter Haven, or 89. Now, Club World Cup, again, underway. We're looking at showers and storms around as we go through the afternoon hours, a mix of sunshine and clouds. It'll be hot, so make sure you're staying hydrated. Temperatures climbing into the lower to middle 90s today, but of course, with the humidity, it's going to feel so much warmer. So your forecast highs, normally we're at 91. We'll see a high of 94 degrees in Orlando, 93 in DeLand, Sanford, Ocala, 90 in Palm Coast, and we're staying in the upper 80s in Brevard County, 89 in Cocoa Beach, Melbourne, and also Mico. The heat index values, this is when you factor in the air temperatures as well as the humidity, feeling like 105 in Claremont, 102 in Wildwood, 100 in the Villages, and 104 in Ocala, 102 in Sanford, DeLand, Orlando, and the heat index value staying in the upper 90s along our coastline. Also, the UV index will be relatively high today, meaning that you can burn or get a sunburn in less than 20 minutes if you're not using sunscreen, so make sure you're lathering up. Now let's go ahead and time out the rest of your day. Fast forwarding things to 4 o'clock, we'll continue to see showers and thunderstorms mainly focused along the I-4 corridor, heavy downpours, gusty winds, lightning as we go through that time frame. Fast forwarding things into this evening, most of the shower and storm activity now shifting off to the west. So parts of Sumter County as well as Marion County getting in on that heavy rain. And I do think most of the shower and storm activity will wrap up tonight. We may see a few stray showers or storms, but most spots will have the opportunity to dry out. Now we'll have a little bit of dry air working itself in across the peninsula as we head into the weekend. So rain chances are actually looking a bit lower. We'll be starting off with clouds, and I do think things will start off dry as we go through your Saturday afternoon and then through the Saturday morning, and then Saturday afternoon, a few spotty showers and storms are possible, calling for a 30 to 40% chance for that. As we turn your attention to what's happening here in the tropics. No tropical activity is expected in the next 7 days across the Atlantic Basin, the Caribbean Sea, and the Gulf. You can see everything is nice and quiet, which is what we like to see. And looking at long-range models, really not hinting at anything popping up, at least for the rest of June. So here's a look at your 7-day forecast. 94 today. We're going to keep those rain chances high at 70% as we wrap up your Friday. It's going to be hot and humid this weekend. Looking at 94 on Saturday, showers and storms around. Really a repeat forecast on Sunday, keeping those temperatures above average at 93. Then as we head into the upcoming work week, it is going to stay hot in the lower to middle 90s, and then rain chances between 40 to 50%. So we have entered our summer-like pattern where we're going to continue to see these daily storms. But the good news with these storms is that usually they cool things down, so at least we have some relief from the heat.
Yeah, absolutely. If there was any doubt that whether summer's here, it's here. Like you said, it's been summer for like the past month already, though. So,
yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Michelle, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. We'll talk to you soon.
No problem. All righty. Bye-bye.
Now we're turning to a story that we've been following out of Volusia County. It first came to light last night. A father has been arrested in the death of his child, a toddler, who was left in the backseat of a truck. The father said he left a battery-operated fan on the child, hoping that would keep him cool, but it did not, and the child ultimately ended up passing away. He was arrested this week, and Sheriff Mike Chitwood spoke about the arrest just about 2 hours ago from right now. News 6's Molly Reed was out there for it, and this is what the sheriff had to say.
Sheriff Mike Chitwood did not hold back on his thoughts about the father, Scott Gardner, while speaking today. All the while he was talking to us, behind him was this photo of 18-month-old Sebastian. The sheriff says Gardner left Sebastian in the car, went to get a haircut, and then walked next door to Hanky Panky's lounge to drink. He was there for hours. Gardner then drove to his mother's house a few miles away, where he then called 911. At that point, the medical staff estimated Sebastian had already been dead for an hour. He was brought to the hospital where Ormond Beach officers and deputies started their investigation into Gardner, but that's not where his day stopped.
But it gets better. Father of the year, baby's dead, investigation is going on. What does he do? He picks up his mother and they go back to Hanky Panky's for a few more cocktails, and they're there until almost midnight. Now, I don't know what anybody here thinks or anybody can have sympathy for somebody like that, but my God, all of us that are fathers and grandfathers and mothers, and how in the world can you be just so messed up that you would allow your child to sit back there in Florida in 90-degree weather, walk outside and check on some car and never go near your son?
Now, Sheriff Mike Chitwood tells me that Gardner did eventually own up to leaving Sebastian in the car on purpose, saying that he left a small battery-powered fan on him, thinking that would be enough. We're told that Sebastian's mother was no longer involved in his life. Gardner is expected to face a judge here later this afternoon. In Daytona Beach, Volusia County, I'm Molly Reed, News 6.
Now, Molly will be following that story throughout the rest of the day, and we'll have updates for you starting on News 6 at 4. Right now, as Michelle Morgan said, there is no tropical development expected in the next 7 days. We're all very thankful for that, but it is still hurricane season and storms will be popping off sooner or later. It's bound to happen, and there's certainly always the chance that we could get hit. And with that, those storms comes cleanup. Debris gets everywhere, and then it's up to all of us to make sure that they're organized in neat piles so that municipalities and counties can come out and clean it up. Today, Orange County got the chance to show off how they're going to be cleaning up that debris if and when a storm happens, and how you can keep it organized to make the cleanup quick and painless for everybody. News 6's Angie Casada was there for the demonstration.
When a hurricane moves through, the cleanup afterward can be just as overwhelming as the storm itself. From tree limbs to flooded furniture, county crews spend days, even weeks, clearing debris from neighborhoods. Today, Orange County Public Works gave residents an inside look at how that cleanup process works.
Mixing, we will pick up the mixing. It is normally last because with Orange County being an interior county, we don't get a whole lot of mixed debris types of generated storms. So those are less and fewer and far between, and so that's kind of that second, maybe even a third pass that we would do. So they will sit at the curb.
From what goes to the curb to what could cost you, staff walk through step-by-step demonstrations, showing how to sort trash, brush, and bulky items to make sure it gets picked up quickly and safely. Solid Waste Manager David Gregory broke down the requirements.
What we require is material must be either in bags, bundles, or in a can.
The county wants residents to stack storm debris in separate piles, keep curbs clear, and never bag yard waste after a storm.
And as you can see here, there are yard waste in bags, there's yard waste in cans, and we also have yard waste in bundles, and smaller items, if you have a tree stump or a piece of wood, can be set out as a loose item.
It's all part of a push to get prepared before the next big storm hits Central Florida.
And county leaders say this isn't just about cleanup, it's about safety. By following a few simple rules, you can help crews move faster and get the community back on their feet. Reporting in Orange County, Angie Casada, News 6.
Now, of course, there's a lot of things you can do to get prepared ahead of any storm. We have a whole list of resources available to you at clickorlando.com/hurricane. The summer months, in addition to being hurricane season, are also a time when a lot of people start moving, pulling up stakes and heading out to their next domicile around the state, around the country. It doesn't matter, but that comes with some risks. Moving companies, you got to be careful when you're choosing them to make sure that your stuff makes it to its destination safely. News 6's Crystal Moyer went and spoke with the Better Business Bureau about what to watch out for.
Moving is a stressful time. In the summertime, it's one of the most busiest times for families to pack up and move. But how do you know if you're hiring a reputable moving company? I'm News 6 anchor Crystal Moyer, and I've got the answers for you.
If you don't have a Department of Ag number that authorizes you to be an intrastate mover, you cannot do local or intrastate moving in the state of Florida.
Michael Haas is the president of 1776 Moving and Storage with more than 30 years of experience. He says first, it's important to know if the company you're using is licensed to do the job. He's got the paperwork displayed at the office, but it's easy to look it up yourself. If they're legit, they'll be listed on the Florida Department of Agriculture website. Just use the business license lookup function with either the company name or license number.
Shows that we've been licensed since 2012. That's our license number, and we are currently registered.
When it comes to moving, you hear broker, you hear mover. What's the difference?
A moving company is a company that will sell you a service, and then that company, with their own equipment, will service your move. So a broker is someone that's going to basically take your move and pass it on to other people.
Right now, we're in a warehouse. This is where you're keeping people's property.
Correct.
How important is it to know where your stuff is being stored?
It's absolutely important. You're thinking as a consumer, oh gosh, they have a warehouse, they're holding my things, and they're putting it into a mini storage that you don't know the address on, and you're relying on the fact that they're going to pay their bill.
If they don't, you could lose all of your belongings. And every year around this time, the Better Business Bureau has to hear about problems like this. In 2024, over 100,000 inquiries were made on the BBB website about movers, and more than 700 complaints were filed. I met with BBB President Holly Sammons, who says customers lose hundreds and even thousands due to a botched move.
One of the biggest complaints is that the story changes after the fact. So, maybe the job is estimated up front, and then once the job is either picked up or once it reaches its destination and before it's unloaded, the dollar amount or the cost of the move can double or even triple in cost.
To avoid issues down the road, it's recommended you start early and do your homework. Research different moving companies, read customer reviews, and get 3 separate detailed quotes.
I posted a guide on questions you can ask your moving company and how you can verify their license on clickorlando.com. In Orlando, Crystal Moyer, News 6.
Right now, we're going to take a quick break. In about 2 minutes, we'll come back and we'll be speaking with News 6 theme park expert Haley Coombs. It has been 1 month since the opening of Epic Universe, the new state-of-the-art theme park that just opened here in Central Florida out with Universal Orlando. So we'll take a look at what's working, what's not working, and what's next for the theme park. That's coming up in 2 minutes. Welcome back to News 6 Extra. I'm streaming executive producer Thomas Mates, filling in for Julie Broughton. She's on vacation right now, but meteorologist Jonathan Kegas will be in this afternoon with your forecast. In the meantime, we are looking back at 1 month of Epic Universe. It was 1 month ago that the grand opening was held. We were there as thousands of people streamed into the newly christened park. But since then, things have developed a little bit. They've gotten their footing. Some things are working better now than they were at the start. Some things are still a bit of a problem. For a little bit more on all of that, we turn to the theme park expert here in the newsroom, Haley Coombs.
I don't know about the, but I like to say a. But yes, thank you.
A theme park expert. If you want to downplay your accomplishments, that's up to you. So
well, yes, thank you.
Of course. So Haley, like I said, it's been a month. As happens with these things, there's probably some issues that had to be ironed out. But let's take a look at what's working right now. What's been the success of Epic Universe so far?
Yeah, sure. And we're still waiting on getting, concrete numbers. Obviously, we'll find out more of TDT coming soon with the profits and also Comcast earnings next month. So, but yes, what can we reflect on this first month? Well, a lot of talk still. There was a lot of buzz going into the opening, but now there's still a lot of buzz. And one of the things that it was a talk in this newsroom and also, of course, online. If you even do a quick Google search, the lack of shade in the park. And I just can't help but highlight this area in particular because, well, today's the first day of summer and we're about to enter the dog days of summer. And as we know, it gets really hot, especially at a theme park here in Central Florida. So I was actually interested because I asked Candace Campos, Chief Meteorologist Candace Campos, what were the temperatures like, particularly in Epic Universe? And while she couldn't give me the exact pinpoint of that location, she did tell me that, of course, during that first month, Sunday marks for 1 month officially, but within that first month, we had 22 above average days in Central Florida. And easily the temperatures in the park could feel like triple digits. So
with all that concrete and asphalt.
Yes. And it's funny you said asphalt because the particular hottest spot, pun intended, I think is Super Nintendo World because you have all those levels and there's very little breeze that get in there. So, and of course the colorful surfaces too that absorb that heat. So I tell people that is the hottest place. So if you're seeking shade, right, if you're in there, beware for bumping elbows with people, but that definitely is the hottest place. And there's other areas too. And you just got to think about it, especially they built a new theme park from the ground up. And so all those trees have to mature. So yes, there is definitely, that is a big chatter right now still, is the lack of shade.
Yeah, and I mean, from what it sounds like, if they're waiting for those trees to mature, it's going to be a little while before it gets better. Yeah, that is rough.
Yes.
I'll be honest, I've not been down to Epic Universe yet. I know you've been a couple times, but it's that alone just seems daunting to me. I remember when Rise of the Resistance opened up over at Disney, and there's not much shade in that queue, and when you're waiting like 2 hours with the Florida sun just like living on your face, it's rough.
Yes. And you just mentioned waiting. And that's, of course, another thing that has been a hot topic. Of course, like with any theme park and any busy day, you're going to have wait times that rack up. In the beginning, the wait times were not that bad because Universal capped ticket sales. And so the attendance was not what we expected. But now that we've had some holidays and we're getting into that July 4th holiday, those wait times have definitely racked up into higher margins of triple wait times. I actually just looked and just casual, just look at the map, and the one that I thought was rather interesting was Curse of the Werewolf. Curse of the Werewolf, there we go. It's a family coaster. It's only 2 minutes long, and the wait time, again, this was 10 minutes ago, is 75 minutes.
Oof.
For a 2-minute ride.
Yeah.
So, and that's an outside queue, not an inside queue where you have AC. So again,
jeez. Well, that was the thing with Ministry of Magic, right? They were anticipating like hours and hours long queues, but most of it's indoors, correct?
Yes. And and that queue is more than a queue; it's an experience. So you have a lot to look at, entertainment. But yes, there is a good portion of the queue outside, and then of course you have the the immersive feeling of going through the Metroflu and into the atrium. So, but yes, that when I talked to the VIP tour guide when I went the first time, they said that queue can hold 6 hours worth of time, but I think probably more than that. So
6 hours, that's your whole day at the park. More power to the people who are committed to the fantasy, but that's just not for me. But I mean, I'm sure that's what Epic is banking on, though, is those diehard fans, especially when it comes to those big IPs like Harry Potter. So we're a month in, but Epic is, from what we were talking about a little bit earlier, Epic's already looking to the future. There's more to come from this park, even though it's just getting its feet under it.
Correct. And even 2 months before this opened, Universal dropped a teaser vacation video, and in it, President of Universal Orlando Resort Karen Irwin said, "We are already working on the next epic thing." And earlier this month, Universal actually, filed for 2 permits, and while they're not all that exciting, we don't know all the details, but there is one for a commercial permit for a building, and then also one that describes as interior space build out, which is probably pertaining to the new restaurant there. So again, little by little, we're expanding. If you look, I remember looking at it with the aerial view, there's tons of room to expand. It sits on 750 acres, but that's just one part. They're not using the entire parcel. So yes, there is indeed lots of room. You know, one of the areas obviously I remember seeing was behind Super Nintendo World again, you know, Harry Potter, as you said, that's a key IP that they will definitely bank in on. So, but yeah, definitely.
Yeah, certainly. And, you know, they have so many IPs that they could explore further. You know, for instance, I mean, just thinking off the top of my head, Minions, that's already been a big cash cow for them already. So I could certainly see that whole Despicable Me land popping up in the next, you know, 5 to 10 years. But it's going to be interesting to see how they grow that park. You know, it's and the expectation was that this is going to be a boon for the entire tourism industry. I know we're getting some info on the TDT numbers today, so we'll get a little more info on that. But, you know, just anecdotally, have you heard about just, you know, like you said, there was going to be thousands of people on iDrive every day. Have we been seeing those crowds materialize?
Yeah. I mean, I know we talked to the president of Icon Park about a month ago, or right after it opened, and yeah, he was saying they was already seeing a big boom. So, but yeah, I mean, and so that's as much as I know right now. But yeah, and you know, and they've always said, like, you know, the park was expected to bring in $2 billion for Florida's economy going in. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's some wild stuff. And you know, we know we'll keep on keeping track of this. I know you'll be staying on top of everything coming out of Epic Universe and all of the theme parks. You have an article that kind of breaks down a little bit more of what we were talking about, this 1 month look back at Epic Universe. Where can people find that?
Yeah, just go to clickorlando.com/theme parks. And as always, I appreciate your input on the conversation, because we do want to know what has your experience been like. So please type in the comments. What do you think has been, you know, the biggest success or something that's been lackluster? So it'd be great to hear from you.
Tips and tricks for first timers as well. I'm sure it'd be greatly appreciated, especially if you need a strategy to stay cool out there. All right. Well, Haley Coombs, thank you so much for your time and your expertise as always.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, and that'll do it for us here on News 6 Extra today. We appreciate you joining us again. Jonathan Kagis will be in for Julie Broughton. He'll bring you your forecast starting on News 6 at 4. And, of course, we'll have updates on all of the stories that we brought you, including that tragic event out in Volusia County. Molly Reed is staying on top of that. Thank you so much for your time, and have a pleasant day.